Jazrael Emil Kavan, representing NSJT. No secrets, just truth. It is time for us to begin to create, not just dream. It's time to act now. It's time to be a master of your own destiny. It's time for you to begin to be the architect of your day and your nights. It's time for you to let go of the ways that have told you that you cannot do, cannot achieve, cannot conceive. See, the doubters and the critics will tell you, by deceiving you, by saying that you cannot create. But the Creator has given us the authority to create. We have to go back to the first principles of the law. When he gave Adam the ability to use the power of the word to create names for the birds and the trees and the animals of the land, what Adam had dominion over the earth, he was able to command the things around him by creating the word. Now, Adam and Eve was banished from the garden, but the word wasn't banished. For in the beginning it says that the word is God. When they asked the lamb, what shall we eat? He said, what you eat doesn't defile you, it's what you speak that defiles you. In Proverbs it says that the word of your mouth can give life or cause death. Today I want you to create. In every moment, in every second, create something beautiful. Now, I know the doubters and the critics and those who don't understand the ability of God will tell you that you must wait on the Lord to create. But he has already created everything. He accomplished his goal in 6 days and took the 7th day off. He has own sought, gave man the ability to use the word to create. That's why every year the new dictionary have new words, because they're being created. Therefore, they they come into existence. You came into existence because your mother and father named you. Then they begin to mold you, instill values, morals, and ethics in you. They begin to shape the woman and man that you are going to be. Some of us, as an adult, haven't learned that we must constantly evolve, that we must constantly recreate ourselves. A diamond don't come from the earth perfect, but it has flaws. So the jeweler will begin with the cutting of the stone and shaping and molding it until it becomes a work of perfection. An artist will spend his time day and night with a vision of what he needs to draw out, paint out, mold out, sculpt out. And when it's done, he has created something. And God is asking you right now to create. Y'all ain't hearing me. He's asking you to create something that cannot be destroyed. He's asking you to take each and every second of your life and create a part of the kingdom, to create your story. Sometimes when you're quiet enough, when you sit alone, you can hear God speak to you, reminding you that it is your job to do His will, not your will. But He gives you the tool to build the plan of what He wants to be created inside of you, so that it radiates to the outside world and they're able to see God's creation in a whole new light. We can no longer sit still and wait on God to come in our lives and create something. We done moved past the time where the road was created for us, where the pathway was brushed aside of all debris and obstructions. We done hit the point where it's time for us to begin It's time for us to remove all the obstructions in our path so that we can evolve to the next level of our art. See, we are creators because we speak the word. And when we speak the word, we create the creation of moments, environments, changes in other people's moods and actions. We all know sometimes we having one of those days where it's rough and we still trying to be ourselves, but we're out of character. We say good morning to somebody and they don't speak back. We begin to feel some type of way about it. Not everybody has this, but when a husband and a wife, when one of them is in a mood, it's like you're afraid to say what you need to say because you know the environment that you're in right now, emotionally, physically, you can't say what you need to say because there's something there. I'm trying to describe to you the power of the Spirit, the power of your ability to create. When you give somebody a gift and they unwrap it and they love it and you begin to smile and you see them smiling, that's a moment that you have created it. I'm not going to put grandma sugar on nothing, but I'm going to tell you, anybody that tells you to wait on the Lord has told you something that just ain't right. They're in error. Because the Lord is constantly moving because he says, I do not slumber or sleep. Which means God is on the move 24/7, 365 days of the year, 366 in a leap year. He is moving. And we as followers of the body of God, those who abide by the kingdom's laws, know that we must continue following his path. We must keep up with the Lord because he moves like a thief in the night. 1 minute he's standing over here, and the next minute he's standing over there. And before you turn your head, he way out in front of you. It's man that lives by the law of time, but I explain it in a different way. Man created time, but there's something off with time, because it takes 8 minutes of the sunlight to hit the earth. So you're behind 8 minutes already. You rushing, but you're not understanding that you got 8 minutes to make your decision. You got 8 minutes to create what you need to create. A wise quote once said that if you shut your mouth, you will be a philosopher. Because you'll begin to look around you. You'll begin to formulate the plan. You'll begin to be able to make the decision that you need to make that will take you in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. You were born knowing what your destiny is. But just as the eyes of Adam and Eve had to be closed, so they dare not know where the tree of immortality is, we were born blind and deaf. But through the Lamb we can see and hear by the blood he shed on the cross. Y'all not understanding. Y'all not understanding. What I'm saying to you is your problems are already solved for you. But it's your job to build that bridge to that moment. It is your job to make sure you following the path that you're supposed to follow. It's your job to make sure that you understand the word. That's why I've been studying etymology, to know the origin of the word, to know its power. See, we don't even know the origin of the words that we speak. So when we speak, it lacks authority. The origin of betrayal does not mean to cross somebody. Does not mean to do something wrong to somebody. The origin of betrayal means revelation and origin. You can't walk around with a lack of knowledge of the world that you live in and believe that you're going to survive, believe that you're going to rise, and attribute it to your hands, to your words. I remember my mother used to tell me they will fatten a calf before they slaughter it. And the calf had no idea that he was being fattened to be slaughtered. So while we spending our time on those people who have more than what you have. Those people not doing what God has intended for you to create, all up in somebody else's life, wishing it was your life. You don't even understand what they about to go through, what they going through. It may look on the outside like they feasting, that they getting everything that they want, that God is moving mountains to give it to them. But you fatten up the calf so that when you slaughter it, you got more meat. God got a purpose for asking you today, right now, in this moment, in this hour, this day, this week, this year, to create, to build something in His name. Now, those who know God understand the message. You holding back the power and authority that God has given you because you are afraid of the pedestal that you will be put on, that other men will begin to turn on you. You're afraid that other women will begin to turn on you. You are afraid that people will call you stuck up, bougie, having delusions of grandeur. But it wants you to start creating something that cannot be destroyed. See, everything that the Lord has ever done is immortal. It reigns from the beginning of time to the end of time and beyond. He's calling the servants of God to begin setting the table, laying out the cloth, setting the plates, setting the glasses. You don't hear me? Because there is a time coming where there will be those who will be seated at the table and they will be told why they are at this table. Now you got to understand that God speaks in metaphors and parables. But He wants you to create something that can't nobody touch, that only those with sight can see. He's talking to the children of destiny, and he's asking us to take every moment and every second that we got, our spare time, to begin molding and shaping and creating. Whether it's taking a young person and mentoring them in the ways of God, if it's taking your family and leading them back to a time of consecration, rededication of faith, love, honor, and humility, whether it means you're on the phone 24/7 calling all your friends, checking on them, and begin sowing a seed to remind them that you are on my mind, you are in my prayers, for things seen and unseen. Whether it's making sure that a homeless man or woman gets something to eat, it's time to begin to create something. Just like we create anniversaries. It's time to clean out your closet and give the stuff to the thrift store instead of talking about it, be about it. Because there are those who right now can't afford to pay their bills and buy new clothes for their kids. They depend on the thrift store. Y'all ain't hearing me? Those with abundance have the duty to give what they have to those who don't have it. Maybe while you're in the store, you pick up a few extra cans or something, a few extra boxes of cereal, and take it to the food bank. Whether it's donating to the children's hospital, donating your time to the classroom where your kids learn. Whether it's going back through the Bible, reading all the prophecies that is to come, so that you shall be able to speak the word of God to somebody else with power and know what you're saying and be able to defend your ground. Y'all not understanding? God is asking you today, in this moment, in this hour, on this day, in this week, in this year, make it a mission to create something. To let your mind be clear and let the vision of God appear and begin working on that creation. The world right now is going through its birth pain. The world right now is hanging on by a thread. And if you are a servant of God, it is your duty by the laws of the Father to do his will. If it is meant for you to reach your destiny, it is your job to create, to do the impossible. What I've been hearing lately that been making me feel a little angry inside, and God keeps trying to calm me down, is the fact that people keep saying, I don't have time to do this. I got all this on my plate. Now I want you to repeat that to God when you pray. And see how it sounds. God say, when I tell you to move, move. When I tell you to stand still, stand still. When I tell you to battle, battle. Because I'm trying to get you from point A to point B. I'm trying to get you closer to me. The Lamb has already shed the blood so that you can be able to speak to God and God speak to you. He said, I tore the temple open to reunite God and man. So they will no longer have to go to the altar and slay a lamb to be heard. He done blessed you all the days of your life. You may not have gotten everything that you wanted, but he made sure you got what you needed. God is asking you, in his name, create something. Work on a project. Ask your friends to donate with you. Ask your neighbors to donate with you. Begin that movement of giving back. Because right now, in this moment, there's somebody about to give up because there's no way they can handle one more disappointment. They can't handle one more message of bad news. They can't make it another day without food or clothes on their back. They live in check to check. Their faith is getting a little thin. They're looking for some deliverance. And if you have been blessed by God, I'm going to tell you like I tell my family. There comes a point when you start buying all this new stuff that you have to throw out the old stuff in order to make room for the new stuff. God is telling you right now, in order for me to keep blessing you, I need you to get rid of some of the old blessings so that I may begin to do some new blessings in your life. It is time to create.